I'm Sam from Cultaholic.com, and this is Graded for Friday Night SmackDown, where I take a look at the show segment by segment and award each little bit a grade from A+ to F. Now, obviously, we're building up to the biggest event of the year, WWE Crown Jewel 2019, so this show is going to be mental. It's just everything's going to happen, and it's going to set up loads of really cool stuff. We're probably going to see like Hulk Hogan explode and go full Super Saiyan and just lay out Flair or something. So without any further ado, let's crack on with it. Hit the intro. So, speak of the devil, this week's show opens with Miz TV and it pits Team Flair against Team Hogan. There's basically a lot of hype being pushed here and not much else. There is a short joke made by Zayn in reference to Shorty G, with everybody else sort of going until like Roman and Ali jump in and stop it. And it sets up a 6-man tag for tonight's main event, which is Roman, Ali and Shorty G, not Chad Gable, Shorty G against Baron Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura and not Sami Zayn. Not Sami Zayn, instead it's this man, and out comes Cesaro. The heels then attempt to attack the babyfaces and they get fought off. And to start the show off, this one gets a D. It was just a handful of nothing, wasn't it? Like a 6-man tag leading into possibly the most controversial event in WWE's calendar, a match that nobody's really excited for. You know, yeah, it's got Hogan and Flair, but again, it's just sort of like, The delivery of a lot of stuff during this promo was pretty toe-curling as well. Hogan also said Saudi Arabia like 6 times, and I don't know if they're sort of lifting the because it wasn't like, I don't even know if it was restricted, but they never used to say Saudi Arabia. They just say the event name, but Hogan just kept saying it's Saudi Arabia, brother, like that. It was pretty. Yeah. We then go to the first match of the night, which is New Day versus Ziggler and Rude. So Kofi starts off by bossing Ziggler around a bit until he climbs the turnbuckle and Bobby Roode crotches him, allowing Ziggler to take charge into the break. When we come back from the break though, like Kofi immediately just gets a hot tag and Big E cleans house. Big E even does that really cool thing where he launches Kofi over the top rope and he takes out Ziggler, but it doesn't really matter because Roode plants him, and then back in the ring, Kofi gets just cheekily rolled up by Dolph for the win. Post-bell, out come the Revival to have a bit of a fight, and then out come Heavy Machinery to sort of make the save for New Day. It's tag team turmoil, guys. It's tag team turmoil. Tag team turmoil. This one gets a C. It was a bit weird, but in terms of setup for one of the maybe, in my opinion, more exciting matches on the Crown Jewel card, I think it did as best as it could. This is nothing against Dolph, of course. Dolph's a great in-ring talent, solid guy, but it's just sort of their respective places on the roster. Kofi's just lost the belt. Last week we had that sort of pancake crushing incident with him, which was sort of like a small indicator into his mindset. This week he's been cheekily rolled up. Like, I think maybe we're going to start to see him crack. And with Xavier Woods away for a while, are we going to see the New Day break? Just break in half and go their separate ways for a little bit. We then keep it at the ring for Lacey Evans versus local competitor Cameron Connors. Lacey gets on the mic and she says, "I will not lower myself to compete against someone like you." And then she walks out of the ring and the count's going. Count gets up to 9. Cameron Connors is just like jumping up and down going, well, yeah, you know what? First WWE win, screw it. And she's jumping up and down and counting with the ref. Ref gets to 9. Lacey gets back in, lays her out with the women's right. 1, 2, 3. You know my opinion on squash matches. It's a squash. It's a C. It makes Lacey look strong. It was quite entertaining to have, the local competitor jumping up and down and being like, yeah, I'm going to have a win in WWE. But I don't know. It's just what I do for squashes. Squashes get C's unless they're really weird. We then go to Nikki Cross backstage and she says that Bayley is feeling the pressure as champion and she is going to alleviate some of that pressure by just removing that belt from her. She then addresses the fact she has to face Mandy Rose tonight, and then we move on to Firefly Funhouse. So yes, Firefly Funhouse is back, and hopefully no super cool, awesome guys that wear backwards caps will be here this week to do crazy, radical, amazing things like arson. So Firefly Funhouse this week opens with a funeral for Ramblin' Rabbit, who died in the fire started by Seth Rollins. You can't be a super cool dude that says things like burn it down if you don't back it up. You've got to go and just burn as many things as you can to the ground. Petrol stations, hotels, children's hospitals. That's what Seth Rollins is all about. Bray says that Ramblin' Rabbit's mother always wanted him to have an open casket funeral, so he opens the casket to reveal his charred corpse. He picks it up, he kisses him, I'm pretty sure he says something like "Goodnight, sweet prince," and then some weird noises start happening, like Ramblin' Rabbit's body starts making strange noises. And then as if by magic, Ramblin' Rabbit is revived and he's like, "The last thing I remember, guys, was like some guy trying to burn down the funhouse." Mercy then very quickly eats Ramblin' Rabbit and Bray hypes up the fact he's going to be at Crown Jewel. This one gets a B, it was very Lynchian, it was very weird, and it's sort of like a weird insight into the laws of the Firefly Funhouse universe. Either Bray has abilities to revive who he sees fit, bring people back from the dead, or like, that's just the laws of that land. You can just bring people back. Things like that just happen. And I don't know if I'm reading sort of too much into it, but technically the funhouse itself died when it was burnt down, and now that's back to normal as well. But we go back to the ring for Kalisto versus Drew Gulak. It's a 205 Live Classic, but before the match even starts, Gulak gets straight on the mic and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, Kalisto. Last week I didn't quite get to finish my PowerPoint, and I'd like to finish it this week." Gulak starts presenting the slideshow, Kalisto stands there for a little bit and then just kicks him. Both men then go back and forth, and then Braun's music hits and he walks down the ramp, which distracts Gulak. Kalisto hits a Salida del Sol, picks up the win, and then Braun gets in the ring, running power slams Gulak, gets on the mic and he's like, "You know what? Like, this guy might have disrespected me," pointing at Gulak. "This guy might have disrespected me, but at least he belongs in a ring. He deserves to be in a wrestling ring, whereas Tyson Fury doesn't." He says that at Crown Jewel, Tyson Fury is going to get some hands, and then he leaves. This one gets a C. Again, it was all set up and it was kind of squashy. I know they have to sort of do it for like these weird half-canon Saudi shows, but yeah, just, you know, I just want more wrestling on my wrestling shows. We then keep it at the ring where Michael Cole is going to be doing sort of like a live interview / announcement with Daniel Bryan. Cole asks Bryan whether the Yes Movement is back already or whether it's ever going to return, and Bryan's sort of pensive. He doesn't quite know what he thinks of it. You can see like earlier in the night he was sort of pacing backstage in one of those like weird backstage shots before the ad break. He just seems like he's a bit off, but before he can say anything, he's cut off by Nakamura and Zayn, who make their way down to the ring. Zayn tries to get into Bryan's head and he's sort of playing off their long personal history as friends. He just runs his mouth and he keeps trying to get Bryan to join his and Nakamura's side rather than side with the fans and return to the Yes Movement. He even shows a clip to Bryan of Bryan saying that the Yes Movement's dead and it's all the fault of the fans. He then eventually offers his hand and Bryan sort of looks at him, pauses for a moment, and just walks off. I really like this and I'm going to give it a B. I thought we were going to see like a full revert from Bryan here, but we didn't, and it's nice. I like the more nuanced storytelling. We've got layers here and we can extend that, and hopefully we can extend it into a nice little feud with Nakamura, because that would be golden. And then we go back to the ring for Nikki Cross versus Mandy. Bayley and Sasha sit at ringside throughout this one on commentary, burying Nikki the entire time. Nikki eats a fair bit of abuse here as well, including a fall-away slam before she's driven to the outside, where Sonya Deville waits till the referee's back turns and attacks her. Nikki fairly quickly though powers up and eventually hits that spinning neckbreaker to pick up the win. I'm going to give this one a C-. Like, it still made Nikki look opportunistic, but I think we needed a more definitive win here. I think she should have come in here and just sort of wiped the floor with Mandy. As I said, they made her look opportunistic, which she should, because she's sort of a wild character and the crowd were very firmly behind her comeback, but I was just expecting more of a statement victory here so she could sort of stare off with Bayley at the end rather than like just sort of clawing back that victory and having that awkward face-off anyway. Like in kayfabe, if she's having a little bit of difficulty with someone like Mandy, how the hell is she going to fare against someone like Bayley? And then we come back after the break and we're supposed to be getting Rey Mysterio and Cain Velasquez going face-to-face with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman in the ring. Rey runs down Brock for attacking his son and then demands he come to the ring. Brock just appears on the Tron instead. Heyman laughs at the invite to the ring. He says, "Do you really think we're going to come down there? Do you really think we have time to come down there? We'd rather just stay back here. Brock's busy. He's got things he needs to do. In fact, he's been doing some things all night, which is sort of the reason we're not down there." Heyman then offers Rey 3 guesses as to what Brock's been doing. He's like, "Well, do you know what Brock's been doing?" And Rey doesn't say anything. He's well, maybe do you know where he's been doing it? He's like, "No." And then he goes, "Well, do you know who he's been doing it to?" And then Brock slowly, by the throat, just picks Dominic up and holds him to the camera laughing. Ray loses it, Cain Velasquez loses it, they sprint to the back, and we go to ad break. So when we get back after the break, Dominic is lying on this bed and he's being seen to by a doctor, and Dominic is wearing a lovely Cain Velasquez t-shirt available now at shop.wwe.com, and the doctor's just sort of repeatedly saying this, and it was really jarring because he was just thrust into this position, I think, on the night, didn't know what to do. He was like, I need some space here, guys, I need some space. I need space here, guys. I need some space here, guys. I need some space here, guys. I need some space. I need some space. So Ray and Velasquez are stood over Dominic, just sort of worrying, not knowing what to do. The doctor's there, everybody's sort of panicking. And then this bin, this huge garbage bin, just goes like boom into the back of Velasquez's head. Brock then appears on the scene. He grabs Ray. Velasquez has gone down off the bin. He grabs Ray, F5s Ray into a wall, and it makes this dead thud. It was awful. And then he picks up Velasquez, F5s him onto Dominic's prone body. It was perfect. It was so old school, and I'm giving this an A. It just felt like wrestling when I was younger, like all the backstage nonsense. I love that sort of stuff. I really want more of it. Just please, 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 more of this stuff week on week. We then go back to the ring for the main event, which is Cesaro, Knickknacks, and Corbin against Shorty G, Roman Reigns, and Ali. Hogan and Flair lead their teams out, and then we get this weird clip of Cain Velasquez screaming in Spanish down the camera. He just keeps saying Brock Lesnar's name over and over again. He is not happy. He is not a happy MMA fighter. Corbin takes charge fairly early on in this one, with Roman taking it right back to him. Even when he tags out, Roman just jumps out the ring and hits a drive-by on him. Shorty G then gets in, and him and Nakamura go at it in a bit of a catch-as-catch-can style, and then he tags in Ali, who takes advantage. Bonus points here for Corey Graves, as he says, "You are not going to get a more valued opinion in this business than that of Hulk Hogan. I'm sorry, Ross, but I'm stealing it." Cesaro then starts bossing Ali around the ring until the ref gets distracted by Zayn and Ali gets dumped to the outside and everybody jumps on him. He then gets trapped in the ring. Corbin wipes out Roman just as a hot tag's about to happen, but it's Shorty G who gets in and cleans house. Despite a perfect run of uninterrupted offense, Corbin still kicks out of everything that Shorty G throws at him before he gets him in an ankle lock, and then like Nakamura comes in to kick Short Gable loose. Roman then gets in and murders Cesaro, but when he goes for a Superman punch, he gets caught by Cesaro into a swing. This swing then gets turned into a sharpshooter until Ali breaks it up, and then when Cesaro goes for a neutralizer, Roman hits him with a spear, and then he tags in Ali, who hits the 450, while Roman takes care of Corbin, and Ali wins the match. This one gets a B. It was by far the best match of the night, and it hyped a match that I don't think really anybody's excited at when you see the Crown Jewel card. There's a couple of matches there that everybody's like, okay, and then there's Team Hogan versus Team Flair. It did feel a little bit weird though to have the babyfaces stand tall here when they're almost 100% going to win at Crown Jewel, because they're just massive house shows, aren't they? But in terms of an overall grade for SmackDown this week, I'm going to give it a C. I just don't think quite a lot of it worked the way they intended it to work. They don't quite usually go full ham when they're doing a go home for the Saudi shows, because there's so much talent that isn't a part of the Saudi shows. They have to keep those storylines going while they're also building to all this stuff, and it just feels a little bit convoluted and messy. But that being said, I enjoyed the main event, and I loved the Brock Lesnar attacking them backstage. That was just great. I also think that this has possibly been the weakest week of SmackDown that I've watched so far, and I hope that this is just a little bit of a blip in the radar and it improves moving forward. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments below. You can follow Cultaholic on Twitter at Cultaholic. You can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Cultaholic. If you like what we do here at Cultaholic, you can check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/Cultaholic. And no matter what you do, don't ever forget to hit subscribe and join us.